forfeit the game before somebody else takes you out of the frame and put your name to shame. Cover up your face. You can't run the race. The pace is too fast. It just won't last.
Gentlemen, welcome to Men of Honor. Our second Men of Honor. This time, it is going to be about SummerMania. The history of SummerMania. Our biggest event of the year. Today, I got a few topics for us to explain. We also have a list right there on the table for you all. That is every match in SummerMania history. So let's first talk about who is with us here on the Men of Honor. Man who's never won at SummerMania, Vapor. Man who's half and half, 2-2 at SummerMania, Genocide. Chris Jones, who is also half and half on SummerMania. Most of his SummerMania matches are against Cynical, though. Chris Jones. And Hazard. Couple death matches in his time at SummerMania. Both with me. But first, guys, let's talk about our first subject of Men of Honor. The evolution of SummerMania. You know, how did it all start? How did it come together? Genocide, you were a part of that history.
Yeah, I was part of, You need to calm down there, sir. You need to calm down there, sir. Yeah, SummerMania is the biggest show of the year for us. But obviously we know in the last minute we're talking about how the other shows and all that with BYWE and all that stuff. BYWE had Backyard Mania and all that.
That's correct.
And that was the biggest show of that. But then we created XCW and we thought we need our big show of the year and we got SummerMania. Our first show of the year was SummerMania 1 in 2003.
Why is it called SummerMania, Genocide?
Why don't you answer that question?
Go ahead, Chris.
Because it's in the summertime, and all big shows have mania.
Obviously.
Some people actually have told us over the years that we were kind of copycats. We took half of SummerSlam and half of WrestleMania, put it together, and it's SummerMania. Better than WrestleSlam, I think. So, I mean, but yeah, the evolution of SummerMania, starting out at X-Rated in 2003, we knew we needed one big show that was going to stand out. It was going to just have that a little bit more to it, and SummerMania just came about. Myself, Genocide, and Dylan Bostic come up with the idea for SummerMania, and it's been a success since, but actually, there's only been 4 SummerManias on camera. Only 4 SummerManias. So most SummerManias are exclusive to live events, which is very uncharacteristic for the XCW, I think. But there's a special feeling that you get from SummerMania compared to other shows. But in your very first SummerMania, Vapor, SummerMania 1, what was your first initial thoughts going in?
Well, because I've never been in a record company going into this, and then it's a big show, it was just my thoughts, it's just like, holy crap, it's a big show, and I'm in the main event, and it's like, wow, you know, it's just like, holy shit.
Ladder match in his first match, SummerMania. But what are your thoughts about never winning a SummerMania?
It sucks. It really does.
What does it do to your self-esteem?
Kind of lowers it.
Kinda?
Kinda.
Do you have self-esteem?
Yes, I do. But it's alright. I may lose.
You just
one of the
unlucky.
on the biggest shows we have of the year, but I can win throughout the year.
I mean, look at some of the other ones. Peyton Manning. You never won a Super Bowl until
That's right.
2006.
Exactly.
You never know.
Look at Steve Young. He had the monkey on his back. You'll have to get it off too.
I never, because I could come down to, I can main event another one and finally win.
You
Like-
could win the last one.
Or I could win the last one.
And then have a heart attack and die for all we
That would suck.
Really?
Chris Jones, what was your special feeling going into your first SummerMania, SummerMania 2? You were also in the main event in your first SummerMania.
Well, in the shed, staying there, waiting for TI-24s to hit, since I would be coming up first because my opponent was the champion, I think. Was
No,
he?
actually, you
I
were.
was a champion? Oh, well.
Okay, so
That's-
second.
Let's reverse that. Staying there waiting for it to come out. I was nervous. Because I had stage fright when I first started wrestling on camera. But look at me
Wow,
now.
that's something I never. Yeah, I do know that. Yeah, but I didn't really know that he was.
Nervous?
Yeah,
And then we had camera trouble that day.
we did.
And then it ended up not working. And it turned out, well, came out there. The match was supposed to be a very good match. It was me and Cynical. And then it turned out to be a really fucking shitty match for
It's been said to be one of the worst matches in SummerMania history. How does that make you feel? I mean,
Cynical's
obviously, SummerMania 3 and SummerMania 6, you come back and had great matches with Cynical.
I blame
SummerMania.
I blame Cynical for something too.
Yeah.
He just got off work. He was in a bad mood. He got in a fight with me, you after the show.
That's right, yeah.
I want to know I wasn't there.
Wendy's just made it a bad day for XCW.
Yeah.
Now we're all
But
Wendy's.
I was excited. I'm not gonna lie, I was excited.
Genocide. You were in the inaugural SummerMania, SummerMania 1. You went against Blade in the semi-main event. What are your thoughts going into your first SummerMania? You know, and you've been in Backyard Manias before. You've been in Backyard Manias before, and how does this compare?
It's the same. Actually, it's either the same or it's bigger. Because it's a new company, it's a new face, new people, and all that. I'm going against Blade for the international title. I've won a few before, but before we started XCW. But it's a brand new company with a new international title going against a new person, and it was a rush.
I bet. SummerMania 2 was also debut SummerMania for Hazard. He competed in the very first match of the show. It was Hazard against Psychor and Eternal Darkness for the Power Championship. It was a table match, actually. Do you remember? I mean, do you remember that match?
I did.
One of the main things that stands out in my mind about this SummerMania match, Hazard's first SummerMania match, is
He's winning.
no, it was actually Eternal Darkness laid out on the table, and Hazard gets down on all fours, and you see Psychor do the swanton through the table. That was one of my fondest memories of that match. But what were your thoughts going into the first SummerMania? Your first SummerMania?
I, of course, had my own company at the time, and we had our own show, World Domination, and wasn't quite as big as XCW, but going into that match, never wrestled Cycle or Eternal Darkness, and
Which I would guess would be nerve-wracking all in itself.
yeah, you're coming into a show that you've never really worked with two people before, and going out there and doing it, but I mean, it was fun. Stuff that you can never forget.
That's right. And you come up short in that match.
Go up short a lot.
Actually, Eternal Darkness walked out with the Power Championship in that match. But kind of going into your big feud after that, the Lucifer, so you ended up eventually winning the Power Championship anyway. So, but my first initial thought going into SummerMania 1, I couldn't believe it for one. It felt so much different to me than Backyard Mania or any other big show that I've been a part of. It just has a special feel. You know you want to go out and try to have the best match of the show, and you want to know, you got to step it up just a little bit more. And we'll talk about this later, but SummerMania is known for their specialty matches, and my first initial thought going into SummerMania was beating Vapor. And it had already been a crazy year for XCW. Right there at Martin Estates, our very first season. We'd had some people in and out already in the company. You know, DTC was in and out at the time. He missed some shows. Nick Klaus was a full-timer back then. Full God debuted right before that and had the European title contest.
Wasn't it during your guys' match? Wasn't it that woman that came in and all with the radio and everything?
Yeah, after I won the contest, the lady come through, turned our music down, told us not to hang the title on the side of the, not to hang the title on the side of the
Hung it in
building.
the like ventilation.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she walks away. She turns, before she leaves, turns the music back up.
It tells us to continue.
And then she
I was
leaves.
I'm like, what is that? I mean, but for SummerMania, you also got to think of main events in the show. Something that everybody always remembers is if they were in a SummerMania main event. And Vapor, you were in the main event of SummerMania 1 against myself for the XW title. Let's speak on that.
Oh, just the idea of being in the main event of the first SummerMania for our company, it's unreal. Just think, because we had so many people back then, it's just like, it could have been anybody. But
Especially Blade coming up
exactly
at the time.
And then Genocide here. I mean, all these big people we had, and it was me and you.
Blade wasn't that
It's like, wow. But always remember it.
SummerMania 2, seeing the main event, the trunk match, our first ever in XCW was a trunk match between Cena, Chris Jones, and Cynical, and that feud just took it to a whole new limit. That's the feud that will never come to an end. I mean, that's the way I look at it. And Chris Jones, you were in the main event of SummerMania 2 against Cynical. What was it like being the XCW champion going into your first SummerMania and being in the main event? What is it like being in main events? You've been in plenty.
Well, when you start off, you know, I didn't start off really as a main eventer, obviously. You know, the Hardcore Power Title Battle Royal, then the May 7th show on the trampoline, and then I didn't really start getting main events until after I lost the belt to Psychor, the Power Title.
That's right.
And
yeah.
then
Won the Extreme King Battle Royal in
I won
2004, yeah.
my first Extreme King Battle Royal, and then
Which led to Greed, where you faced DTC.
led to Greed, which led to what I'm king of, TLC. I got to beat DTC for the world title.
In his one and only championship reign, which he defeated Kurt Acid.
And then going into the SummerMania, I had to do something big. I didn't really do much in the TLC match. Really, we didn't do much. But that's when I started to I think I want to jump off the porch. So I do. I jump off the porch and get hit in the head with the trash can lid. That kind of didn't work out for me there. Obviously.
Also got the trunk slammed on your head. as
And
hard
got
as
the
you could.
fucking trunks.
Hazard drove away in the getaway car. That SummerMania. SummerMania 3 leads to my second main event at SummerMania. It was Fletch versus Hazard in Death Match 2. And Hazard, there's no way you could have recuperated from Greed and then a month later being against me. But this match was also special because not only was it a death match, and not only was it for the XW title between myself and him, it was also for the international title, which you held both. Going into SummerMania 3, well, how did you feel being both champions, being in being in the main event of SummerMania?
Of course, SummerMania 3 is retro. Every 3 SummerManias, you get a retro show. And going into number 1, a death match, has got to be the worst, nerve-wracking feeling in the world. First death match, me and Chris Jones set up in the clubhouse and just sat there forever. Forever. And then going into the second one, you know, you're a little bit more prepared for it. You know, you're kind of like, wow, this is going to hurt. I tell you one thing, though, the worst feeling in the world,
Windshield wipers.
no, is when you fall off the ladder and you go through the light tube table, and one side doesn't break, so Fletch picks up the other side. The worst sound in the world is him going, I hope this breaks. What? And he swung it for the fences. Good thing it broke.
Let's also look at the fact that Hazard had a ladder standing up, put his foot on the bottom rung on the ladder, let it fall, and hit me as hard as he possibly could. But see, also threw me out of the back of a truck. He pounced me through a table. He FU'd me on a ladder with a bunch of thumbtacks around it. Also tried to pick him up, my ankle went out, and then I landed a bunch of thumbtacks. It was a crazy match, to say the very least.
Then I get hit with a cookie sheet, land on a flaming table, and it's still on fire, the piece of paper, so he swings to put it out, and it goes in my eye.
It's true. It's true.
And it burnt.
Little things are the best.
And then the littlest things that happen in some of the matches. In SummerMania 3 main event, the death match has one of those. Referee over here missed an entire number.
3,
Yeah, we
5.
yeah, the last man standing rules of the death match, and he completely skipped over 4.
I was
1,
doing
2,
something.
3, 5. I'm like,
I was doing something at the time.
We're picking up tacks.
Yes,
It's
and
like you.
a second had already passed by, so I figured just go straight to 5 since I already missed that 1 second anyways.
but
It's like he was picking up tacks too, like counting 1, 2, 3. That's like you picked up 2, 5.
SummerMania 4 was another one not seen on camera. And then that main event, it was the end of the ST1.
There's only one match for that.
Chris Jones won the ST1, but you defeated Rob Slater in an Iron Man match.
15 minutes.
What are your thoughts on the ST1 going into that Iron Man match against Rob Slater?
My thoughts are, personally, and the wrestling, I don't like Rob Slater. It's my personal thoughts.
Rob Slater's never defeated you.
I was going in there to hurt him personally, to be honest. So we went into the Iron Man match. My goal was to not let him get any pinfalls. Obviously, that didn't turn out like that. But
It was 4-3 at the end of that.
But we also have this thing to where one of his moves is also one of my moves.
JKO and RKO, yeah.
And of course it was going to be who can do it better. And SummerMania 4, I was in SummerMania 3 and SummerMania 2, so I wasn't nervous no more.
That's right.
I went in there and I showed Rob Slater how to do the JKO correctly. And after 15 minutes it paid off. I was tired of the motherfucker.
Chris Jones was the headliner SummerMania 2 against Cynical. A truck match, lost that match. Went on to SummerMania 3, main event between us. SummerMania 4, Chris Jones back in the main event, winning ST1. But that's not where Chris Jones stops. At SummerMania 5, Chris Jones was yet again in the main event. This time, he went against Hazard in a TLC match for the International Championship. And, you know, what a complete mindfuck for the XCW title to go on before the International title. But your guys' feud was huge. You know, Chris Jones trying to get the XCW title, and Hazard never let that happen, no matter what. Hazard screwed Chris Jones every single... How many titles was it? 5? 5 championships going into SummerMania? SummerMania 5 is where it all culminated. We've finally had Kenny Chaos against Chris Jones. TLC! What are your thoughts going into that match, especially when that table didn't break?
Well, going into TLC, it wasn't like going into a normal SummerMania main event match. First off, it's TLC. That's my cup of roofies right there, TLC.
Cup of roofies.
Yes.
Drugged me. Let me sign a contract.
But going in there, I had a little bit more confidence than what I normally have, like going to a trunk match. I Anyways, TLC, it's a little different. Hazard, I can't do much to Hazard. He's a bigger feller.
Bigger feller. He said feller.
I mean,
Fuck says feller.
what much can I do to Hazard? Maybe the super kick. Not much I can do to Hazard, but I had to get innovative. If I'm not mistaken, I won.
Well, no shit.
Do you remember why I won Hazard? Cynical.
Are you sure?
No.
Are you positive?
No. I thought that's when cynical interfered.
Let's look back here.
Maybe I lost.
No, you didn't.
Okay. Didn't cynical interfere?
Pretty possibly he didn't. He interfered in our death.
Pretty positive you did not.
Oh, okay.
Jackass.
Excuse me.
I just wanted to look at the list here.
Excuse me.
Let's talk about the next SummerMania 6. And you know, Genocide has been in the XCW a number of years, obviously, since he started the whole thing. SummerMania 6 was Genocide's first appearance in the main event. He went against Tommy the Man Merriman.
6 years to do it.
Shut up.
What are your thoughts going in as XCW champion and walking out as XCW champion against Tommy Merriman?
Well, like you said, or like he just said, 6 years to do it.
In the making, it's kind of like a Hulk Hogan type of thing.
Been there since 2003. Started 2003. Finally, Summer. Shut up, both of you. Finally, SummerMania 6 gets in the main event. XCW champion against Tommy the Man
You
Merriman.
even had walked in with your own belt.
Yes, my own custom-made belt
Comes
for the XCW title. Shut your mouth. And it was retro, so that was a good show too.
SummerMania 6 is up there as one of my favorite SummerManias.
I love that whole show and all that, but
It was
Facing-
a good show.
facing Tommy the Man Merriman for the first time ever, never faced him before, in a singles match. That's like up there as one of my greatest matches of all time. And I was happy to face him, happy to win in the main event.
And SummerMania 7 saw first ever in XCW. It was a leather strap match between Corey Lee and Brandon Hobbs. And it's pretty cool when you get to see a first time ever in XCW, and SummerMania 7 held that. Care to comment on SummerMania 7, Christian? Corey Lee and Brandon Hobbs leather strap. I think it's actually one of Corey Lee and Brandon Hobbs' better matches in their feud.
It's one of the only good matches Brandon's really ever had. Brandon Hobbs doesn't have many.
What else?
I'm gonna pass this one on to Hazard.
I was not there.
That's why I passed it on to you.
Genocide.
That was a brutal match.
It was brutal.
Very brutal.
They
Especially
beat each other
Yeah,
pretty bad.
going back and forth with the belt and everything. Didn't they get one of them in the face with it? Or?
I'm not 100% sure,
You
but
can tell Brandon's face.
Well, he does look like a baboon.
well, that brings me to our next topic: specialty matches, SummerMania. That was the first time we'd ever seen a leather strap match, and it was our main event. But there was something else in that at SummerMania 7. It was the first ever championship scramble. LOL, Nightmare, Drago, DTC, James Cerebral.
Can I talk about that one?
Sure.
That was brutal because Nightmare killed everybody with that cookie sheet.
He did.
He blasted everybody in the head with that cookie sheet.
And James Cerebral was a surprise. I mean, what do you guys think of? What did you guys think of SummerMania 7 and the championship scramble match?
It was very brutal. Nightmare had a new motherfucking change of motherfucking attitude, motherfucker.
An unmasking of Nightmare. Let's go back to SummerMania 3. There was a lot of concept specialty matches in that. There was anybody want to recall on the casket match between Nightmare and Devil?
Devil is terrified of caskets.
He is. One thing that he is terrified of.
That's the only thing that man is terrified of is caskets. And to be put in a casket match with Nightmare, who he's had a feud with for ever, and then he teams up with him, then he comes back. Feuding, we get But
And your guys' Nightmare and Devil's back and forward power struggle with each
That's
other.
right, like the Jedi Force. Nightmare Devil.
It's just like, wow.
Also in SummerMania 3, we had the kendo stick match. Which, if you want to talk about brutal, that was fucking brutal.
Good God.
Christian's beat Cynical bad.
I think I kicked the taste out of his mouth one time. Like really, I've kicked people in the face, but I think I kicked the taste out of his
I've
mouth.
been kicked in the face before.
Because if you watch closely, you see him it's a spot where he slams me, turns around, I nip up and get him right here in the face, and if you look, you see something white fly. I think spit flew out of his mouth when I kicked him.
Let's talk about the last specialty match. It has become a SummerMania tradition. What are your guys' thoughts on the King of the Mountain? You know, SummerMania is the only show you see the King of the Mountain in.
I lost.
So did I.
Me too.
I had to jump like 6
Never been in
feet.
it.
I got a comment. I showed that I'm better than LeBron James. I had to jump 20 feet up in the air just to win the match.
Yeah, I almost won that.
20 feet up in the air to Frosty float Fletch off the ladder.
Frosty flip.
But the
I
first
wanted
ever
to
King of the
do that.
Mountain was held at SummerMania 5. Brandon Hobbs won by defeating Psychor. They were the final two. Stephen Reigns handcuffed Psychor to make him win that match. Stephen Reigns debuted.
Hobbs paid him off.
SummerMania 6 was the International Championship. Chris Jones, you were in that one also. You were pissed because you lost to Cynical earlier in the night. Came back out in that one. Corey Lee came out the victor of the second King of the Mountain. Then the third
That was my jump off the roof.
The third King of the Mountain just this past SummerMania, which Chris Jones won. So
I have a comment about SummerMania 3.
we're gonna get to that in just a moment.
Yeah, so shut it.
But special matches, what you know, King of the Mountain is a strange concept. It's pretty tough. You pin your opponent, they get stuck in a penalty box for 2 minutes. You're eligible to aim the title. Any last comments about the King of the Mountain?
Part that sucks about that match is once you're stuck in a penalty box.
Which you got stuck in a lot.
Yep. You never know when it's gonna end. And then like with that match, you know, I was stuck in there right at the end, and right as it's coming down, the winner goes up. And
That's
it's just
right.
like,
Yeah.
And yeah, speaking of the match we were in, you go into a penalty box, someone comes in, more than likely there's going to be a fight. There's a picture of me and Vapor in the penalty box, and I have him in the walls of Jones.
Yeah, that's true. You can get your ass kicked in a penalty box.
And that is the background of my iPod, just to let you know, Vapor.
That's awesome.
There's also, though, a little bit of a strategy you could use on that because you're in there for a minute. That could be your rest time.
Yeah.
That's true.
You could be getting brutally beaten. And
But if you're
honestly-
alone,
and honestly take the penalty to take a rest. But that could also come back to bite your ass.
you could also be stuck in the penalty box while the winner climbs the ladder.
That's what I'm saying. That could pay the penalty.
That's what happened in the first King of the Mountain. You got Tommy Merriman and Jay Banks stuck in the penalty box. And Psychor's almost got that belt hung. Stephen Reigns ran out, hit him, handcuffed him. Boom, Brandon Hobbs wins his first championship in XW. But next topic, retro. SummerMania 3, SummerMania 6. What are you guys' thoughts on the retro style? I mean, you know, 9's coming up.
You got any more room over there? You can scoot over a little bit.
Not really.
I love
I
it.
kind of gotta have an ass cheek hanging on.
I love the concept of a retro. Cause you bring everybody comes back and
You see familiar faces.
yeah.
The
Swap Man, Donnie Dark.
Donnie Dark Joker retro match.
And people come back in old music that you haven't heard in a long time.
Donnie Dark.
It's like a blast from the past. You know, you can see Superstar come
That was a
out,
good movie.
and they'll come out to their music from 2004. You know, and you're like, it's a blast from the past. It's crazy.
Donnie Dark's and Joker's match cracked me up.
Yeah, that was a good one. But do you think that we should continue the retro
Oh, yeah.
style with SummerMania 9?
Very.
So it's a popular decision. SummerMania 9.
Something else most people don't know is about SummerMania 3. There's a match LOL and Blade Jr. for the Cruiserweight title. That also debuted the day of LOL's Mexican Destroyer, where Blade Jr. bounced off his head and grabbed Emily's boob. Remember that?
I do.
You punched him in the head.
I do. SummerMania 6 had more to it than Retro, I think. It was also our battle with UIW, and me and Hazard, even if you actually watch SummerMania 6 at the end, Hazard says, top that UIW. So I think SummerMania 6 really had a special feel to it.
It was also my last match for a year.
It's correct, yeah.
Kind of sent everything into a whirlwind on that one. But tell you the one thing about the oh my lord, SummerMania brings out the best in everybody. Who honestly would think that Fletch would do a crossbody off a freaking truck? Who in the you're like, the worst thing. Okay, I have a lot of bad memories with you in these. I hope this breaks and crossbody.
Well, you hit me with a chair full of light tubes. You know, who knows how that was going to turn out. Then the worst feeling ever was getting put through the table on fire with the barbed wire and the thumbtacks. That was the hottest shit I've ever felt in my life. And every time I moved my leg, I hit a flaming tack. That was horrible. It was horrible. But
Staple to the head.
Oh my lord.
we're gonna wrap it up here pretty soon. I want to get one more topic in. SummerMania 8, 2012, and the future of XCW. What are you guys expecting coming into this? You know, are there going to be any Impact players, main events?
I don't think I'll be in the main event.
I plan on cashing in that money in the bank soon. Just FYI.
You could be going into SummerMania 8 as champion.
He's gonna cash in and lose. I think
August 2012 is going to be crazy, huh?
Jinx me.
I think the Untouchables and the VK3 thing's gonna hit the heat, step up for SummerMania.
What do you guys think? What's going to happen? What's the future going to be like? Is SummerMania 8 going to be the best SummerMania ever, the biggest and baddest of all time?
Each
I think
year,
we're gonna-
honestly, they get better.
They do.
I think we're just gonna try to make it like everything.
Do you think people are going to work harder to make this?
Oh, I think so.
Each SummerMania every year tops the last one. It tops it big.
Bigger, better, stripper.
This is SummerMania 8. It's going to be... Is there any matches that you guys are wanting to see in SummerMania 8 this year?
I want to see.
We'll definitely see the King of the Mountain.
I want to see the Untouchables versus VK3, and like back in the day, they had this thing in WCW where there was like two big stables and they had like a big ass fucking street fight. I want to see.
You're a
guys-
WCW fan, you tell me.
It was. I just want to see you guys annihilate the shit out of each
War
other.
games or something? Or?
No.
One WCW white.
I don't.
Shut up, you don't know.
SummerMania 8, where do you think you're going to be?
On his
Think you
back.
can make it to the main event of SummerMania 8?
Hopefully,
Are you going to win this year SummerMania 8?
I'm gonna try. I'll try my hardest.
No,
I put 10 galleons on his opponent.
here, I think this is going to answer for everybody. Okay? I hope it does. I don't think it will, but I think for SummerMania 8, where everybody sees themselves as, they either see themselves in the main event, see themselves as champion, going for a title, and being the best of that show.
Or they can just go the fuck home.
Is it going to be your best SummerMania yet?
Yes.
Are you gonna, I mean, is it going to be 150,000% in this
Oh, yeah.
SummerMania? We'll have to see 2012, August, SummerMania 8. Who would have ever thought we were going to get to SummerMania 8?
Yeah, we're supposed to be done after 4, and then after 5, and then 6.
SummerMania 8, 2012 season's coming up, but
I look forward to a retro. Just saying.
SummerMania 9 coming up in 2013. Retro. What can we expect to see from that?
I would be.
But the 2012 season hasn't even begun yet. Coming up in a couple weeks. Cold day in hell.
Anything could happen.
Alright, well, thank you for joining us here for Men of Honor, SummerMania. Our next Men of Honor is going to be about XCW champions. and the prestige of being an XCW champion. From Fletch, Chris Jones, Hazard, Vapor, and Genocide, thank you for joining us. Good night.
Bye. After urinate.